Do you experience headaches, weakness, and falls? We have a comment here from Jill saying that she has headaches, small vessel disease, weakness, and falls, and is asking for help. So, just to clarify, when we say small vessel disease is referring to any of the blood vessels, the ones that are carrying oxygenated blood typically, which are going to be the smaller ones, not your big arteries like the ones that are coming, say, in the vena cava or something like that, the ones which are going to be going in a big part of the body. What we're talking about is the smaller ones. It's either the small, tiny arteries, the arterioles, or even the capillaries. And when we're talking about small vessel disease, essentially this is saying kind of like heart disease. It's saying there's damage to these blood vessels, whether it's going to be atherosclerosis, any kind of blockages, any kind of hardening. And, from the things that we all know about. So things like poor diet, exercise, maybe congenital issues, smoking, the other risk factors that people may have. There is a mix of symptoms here, but to be very honest, I can't give any professional advice without more information, because to give advice without knowing too much, of course, would not be the best thing to do for anyone, because it may not always be safe. So all I would say, though, is that for these kind of things, especially if there is already things like blood vessel issues going on and you've had falls, especially if there's maybe been any kind of fractures or injuries, first thing is always going to be, please check in with your medical doctor, start with your GP, and they're going to refer you to the right person. So typically that's going to be, say, to an ENT, a neurologist, maybe even going to see an ortho to see if, say, the fall has maybe caused an injury to the bones, or if there's something else going on which may be more underlying. So I think seeing the medical specialist first is probably the best thing to do. And then, however, if you do that, or if maybe you've already done that and things are not as helpful and you've already ruled out some things, you've had tests, you've tried a bunch of different interventions, maybe medication, exercise, other different approaches, and particularly if this is a more chronic problem, I would advise then going to see an upper cervical chiropractor wherever you're based. If you don't know someone, I'll do my best to try and find someone for you, and they'll be able to do a full assessment, find out more about what's happening, and then advise if this is something we can help with, if there is something happening at the top part of the neck, because commonly something at the top part of the neck can definitely start to affect things like headaches. It can start to cause weakness, particularly into the arms and the shoulders. It can start to affect your balance or cause dizziness, which can make you more susceptible to falls. I'll be honest, I don't think that something up here we can always attribute to something like small vessel disease. That's usually multifactorial, again, based on things like our lifestyles, if we have underlying conditions, those other factors. But for the other ones, it could potentially be something up here. But again, if you haven't already, please go and see a medical doctor and check in about these issues. If you have, and maybe you tried a bunch of different approaches and things have not been successful, then I would advise checking in with an upper cervical chiropractor. If you're based here in Singapore, we'll do our best to either refer you to the right person or to help you if we can. However, if you're based somewhere else, let me know where, and I'll do my best to refer you to someone who can help your case.